Dearest gentle listeners, you are listening to the Ladies Bridgerton, the talk of the town. We are your effervescent hosts, your neighborhood-friendly Kiwi touch from Middle-earth, New Zealand.
And Patty, Regency romance enthusiast, currently writing her high vibe and loved era.
So I think we can squeeze one more sibling in today. Simon and Daphne. This is going to be a big one. Okay, should we start with the male first this time?
Sure.
Simon, house. I'm leaning Slytherin again.
I'm leaning Slytherin because he has goals, and those goals are
he's
F over my father.
Yeah, he's very goal orientated. He's very individualistic. He's very ambitious and driven for those goals. He's determined. He's prepared. He's a perfectionist, and that is why he has the issues that he has, is because his dad also had perfectionism, and if he wasn't perfect, then he wasn't good enough, and so he's always striving for perfection. Big on cost benefit analysis. He weighed up marrying Daphne versus his own goals, and he did not come out. Very self-reliant, very charming, very bold and assertive, incredibly him. Ruthless. He was willing to cut down Daphne for his own to serve his own goals, able to separate their idea of themselves from what they do. Very much him. He was able to take himself out of the scenario. So yeah, I don't think Slytherin through and through. And this is what we're saying. Slytherin does not mean you're a bad person. It just means that you're very focused on what you're focused on. Very, very goal driven, very like very much career people. I would say more Slytherin.
I agree.
I got pen on my finger. Okay, spouse. I have an interesting one for this one. Young McGonagall.
Ooh. Yeah, McGonagall kind of wrote a rule book.
Before she was sort of as jaded as she is. You know, I mean, I still love old McGonagall. I absolutely stand her, but she became the toughness that she was because she fell in love with a Muggle and he died. But I
can see that, but I also think that, you know, I almost feel like possibly
Fleur is a little bit like Daphne, where she's very, very appearance driven. Well, I was kind of saving her for Anthony, but I mean, if I can give Ginny to everyone, yes, she's very appearance driven, but we actually see after she marries Bill that she actually has a very good heart. No, Charlie, Bill. I should know this. I've read these books hundreds of times.
Bill.
It is Bill.
It is Bill. It's not the dragon
guy. I was thinking Scratches, but no, it was from Wolf. Fenring. Who scarred him up and turned him into a wolf potentially. Fenrir. Which is quite interesting because I've been listening to the June audiobook with Stephen, and they also they actually have a few names that cross over between Harry Potter and June. Greyback is okay. So we've done spouse. What would be Simon's Patronus? I would say it'd be something strong. He's very masculine.
And I kind of see his Patronus as being like a peacock, because the male peacock is actually the beautiful one.
Yes.
You would not expect that, right? Most of the time the female is the beauty in the animal world, or, you know, human world. And he just really for me
want to be seen.
He doesn't want to be seen, but being seen for him is used to get to a goal. He wants to be seen with Daphne, so the mamas leave him alone. So he's using being seen, much like a peacock wants to be seen when it's mating. Like there's a means to an end. He's using it for his goals and his own purposes rather than being showy all the time, right?
So I was just looking up uncommon Patronus, and it's got a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh, sorry. I see him as a lone wolf. He's intelligent, he's smart, but he very much wants to do it on his own, even though they are very much typically meant to be a pack animal, but he's trying to do it on his own.
And I was just trying to think of like an animal that appears one way, but it's something else. Like kind of like in Jurassic Park, those cute little dinosaurs,
Mm-hmm.
and then their side fin things come out and they
Yeah.
spit at you and you die.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
his his Patronus would be the the fuzzy cute gizmo gremlin that then turns then turns you think you're getting one
Actually,
thing.
I'm gonna change it up. I'm
Okay.
gonna go Phoenix because he absolutely has a rebirth multiple times.
Yeah.
First, after he meets Lady Danbury, he has a
Mhm.
rebirth in finding love for the first time, maternal love, and then he has another rebirth after marrying
His
Daphne,
father dies.
and then I think he has another one in finding the love of parenthood. And I think the different loves that he goes through is a
Mhm.
rebirth for him each time. So I'm going to go Phoenix.
I can see that, yes.
Bogart, dad. Dad
Yeah.
disapproving, yelling at him, screaming that he's not good enough. Why
Hmm.
is it always the dads the Bogarts
Because
every
Bridgerton is
time?
all about father issues.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to say prior to the end of season 1, prior to Daphne, his Bogart would have been a baby. His
His
fear of
Bogart his Bogart would have been a baby that
an
looked like
heir.
his father, that
Yeah.
resembled, like
Yeah.
he was continuing his father's line, so he would be holding a
Mm-hmm.
baby that looked like his father.
Mm-hmm. With his wife dead on the bed, just
Hmm.
repeating history. That would be
Yeah.
absolutely his Bogart. Okay, what would be Simon's favorite class? Not English.
And honestly, for him too, because he's chameleon would have been a good Patronus.
Mm-hmm.
um I think that because he is a chameleon and he plays to his strengths when needed, um again, something like um charms or transfiguration.
I think charms, yeah. Things that are going to get him by in life, and like anything that's going to keep him away from people, he's all about. Okay, Daphne. House. I am leaning possibly Ravenclaw, but she's not. It's not
She's not
necessarily.
super, I mean, she's not, she has a different kind of intelligence. um
Yeah, I mean,
she's more,
she could even go Slytherin as well. To be honest, like she's very goal driven. She's willing to do whatever it takes. She uses others to get to her goal. She uses the
yeah,
prince
but
to get to her goal. She's highly intelligent. She is very selective about
she
who
doesn't
she has
compromise
loyalty
anyone in
to.
her family to get to her goal. Like she'll
No, but that's what I'm
like
saying.
she
She's very
compromised
specific.
Cressida.
But that's what I'm saying. She's very selective about who she's loyal to.
Yeah, but like that's one of the reasons Danbury and Penelope really could fit into Slytherin, is because in at a specific moment they can be ruthless to a friend in service of a friend, or to a family member in service of a friend. That, like, I think that plays into Slytherin too.
I, I'm 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 I'm
I think
sticking.
in terms of loyalty and everything, I think um she could, I see her like a Gryffindor Hufflepuff thing, because she's kind of a by the book. I don't really see her breaking the rules to get what she wants. She uses the rules to her advantage. She learns the rule book so that she can use the rules to her advantage.
Which to me screams Slytherin.
Everybody can't be a Slytherin there, Tosh.
No, just two
We got to make
people.
this interesting.
Well, you know what? Everyone's usually a Gryffindor, so who
True.
we put
We got to put somebody
um
in Hufflepuff.
yeah, we've definitely
Although
got
I think
Hufflepuffs coming
Benedict
up.
is a Hufflepuff.
Yes, there is definitely a lot of Hufflepuffs coming into the mix. Okay, so house, and then we've got spouse for Daphne.
Her spouse would be kind of leaning Percy because he's such a high achiever and he kind of wants to toe the line, and he's a little misguided, kind of like Simon. Like Simon knows what his outcome is, because his outcome is to screw his dad, and he wants to be a cycle breaker, but he's only thinking of being a cycle breaker in one specific way. And
Mhm.
Daphne kind of shows him, like, you could be a cycle breaker by being a different kind of dad, not being
Mhm.
no dad at all, right? So I think that she would, Percy would be a good spouse, or she would be a good spouse to Percy, because he is misguided and he becomes even more misguided.
So
He's
for
kind of
nearly the exact same reasons, but a completely different character who I think would fit her a lot better, especially for the fact of her marrying someone a little bit misguided, but helps bring out the more gentle side of them. I'm not sure if you ever read Cursed Child, but you would see it fits a lot better into that storyline, is Draco Malfoy.
Yeah, I can see that. And I
Draco
just found out
Malfoy is an
Cursed
amazing
Child.
father.
I've read Cursed Child and I haven't
It's
seen it
terrible.
yet.
It's
It's
terrible.
coming to Columbus though. I kind of want to go see it.
I mean, I think if I saw the play, I would enjoy it more, but
As
I
a
think they
theater
just,
nerdy girl, I kind of want to go see it.
I know, it's just what they did to Harry, I just can't forgive.
I don't like what they did to Harry
I
in
can't
Cursed Child.
marry the idea of Harry being an abusive father, and realistically, he was abusive. What a wild flip into the story where Draco is the supportive, loving father of I'll love you no matter what. You can
Yeah.
choose whatever you want in life. You can choose whoever you want in life. Like you do you, and I'll just support you over here, and I'll be your biggest fan.
Well,
Like, and
I
that's
think they played Harry off like I peaked in high school
mm-hmm,
kind of character, right? Like Harry peaked
yeah.
in high school, but Draco got to be he overcame his
Because keep
high
in mind,
school rep.
Percy is also would mean that Daphne was marrying down substantially. Like that is worse than a country bumpkin in the world of the ton. Whereas Draco's family were the equivalent of a duke.
I get that, but I just view it as like out of everyone, kind of like how Simon is the anomaly between him and his father of the men in his family.
Yes.
Like Percy is the anomaly because he so wants to climb out of being a Weasley.
Well, he looked up to his father originally until he realized that his father had 8 children that he could not, 7 children, sorry, that he could not afford, 8 mouths to feed outside of himself. That's what I meant to say. And he kind of resented his father for that in the long run.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that Draco also looked up to his father and followed in his footsteps until he hit an age where he started realizing that what he was doing was wrong. And especially after the war and in Cursed Child, where he realized all the prejudice that his dad held and how much hate that put into the world, and decided he wasn't going to be part of that. And he ended up marrying a muggle born woman, or just a muggle, shall I say, a muggle woman. And he loved her until she died, and he gave up all of his prejudices for her.
Yeah. No, I can see
So
that.
that's yeah.
And I wasn't even thinking, I was thinking, the canon books. I wasn't even thinking about Cursed Child, but that does fit.
Yes. All
The
right.
Draco Malfoy of the future.
Yes. Patronus. It's got to be something showy. Something showy. Like I could see if the female peacock working, because like she is very much that white, beautiful, the white feathers, the perfection, the rare gem
I
of
kind of
white
see it like
peacock.
her Patronus is like a My Little Pony. Like, like or one of those, they talk about the painted pony, or the braiding the pony's hair
Mm-hmm.
to Anthony for the wedding. Like, do we need to help you braid the horse's manes or whatever?
Yeah.
Like something very done up,
Showy, flashy, done up, which is why I thought the white peacock,
pretty.
because they're very show stopping, very like elegant. Look at me, I'm the showstopper, but with little pea brains.
Well, and we also got to look at like truly what makes her happy though is children.
Yes.
So, I mean, maybe she's like the really pretty, Westminster Kennel Club show dog, best in show, fancy
Mhm.
dog. And she then, gets bred with the other fancy
She's a
winner.
poodle.
Yeah, she would be a little poodle. She would be a poodle. Yes.
Yeah.
Poodle with a nice little bow, fancy grooming.
Yeah. Okay. Bogart or Daphne, a dead baby. Finally getting her dream of having a baby and losing it. I think that would be her biggest fear.
I think hers is definitely not being able to be a mother. I think her boggart would be watching Eloise have a baby when she has no children.
Yeah.
Because Eloise is the next female in line and she would feel skipped over. I went through that. Like when my sister had a baby before I did, I know what that feels like. And I think that would be Daphne's biggest fear is to watch all of her younger sisters have children when she couldn't.
Okay. Favorite class. I think almost Transfiguration.
Becoming whatever is needed for the moment at hand.
Yeah. Because we do see her kind of transform from being daughter to lady of the ton to debutante to wife
Oh
to
yeah,
mother.
the night she goes and she's like, I'm going to get the prince. Like that whole transformation, like
Yeah.
she became princess vibes that night for
Yeah.
sure. She walked in like a princess.
I'm a prince.
I'm a princess. Once again, thank you for listening to the musings of two mad women.
Yours truly, Tash the Kiwi.
And Lady Patty.
Oh no, I have too many book boyfriends. That's not fair.
Coming up with only 4 potential husbands is the hard part. How do I narrow that down?